All right. Hope you guys are doing well. In this module, we're going to focus on creating our new listing, keyword research, copywriting, all that good stuff. And, just to recap, we've gone out there, we've picked a winning product, we've gone to Alibaba, we negotiated, found our winning supplier, hit our target price point. We know all of our numbers, what we're going to be making in profit per unit, all of that. Now is that sort of funny time during this whole process where we have about 30 days of, you could say, downtime in between when we initially place the order and when the order arrives to Amazon. So again, that's going to be about 30 days, give or take 5 days one way or the other. So during this time, what are you supposed to do? Well, what you're supposed to do is, this is the perfect time to create your listing, do your keyword research, get your images done, and get everything all set up and prepared, so by the time your inventory actually lands in the FBA warehouses, you are ready to go with your launch as soon as possible. So that's what we're going to cover here. We're going to cover product listings, how to construct a well-optimized listing, how to do copywriting, how to do keyword research. What do you say we get into it? This is going to be a little bit of a high-level overview, and then we're going to get into the more specifics. So Amazon listing makeup, what goes into a listing? Well, there are 4 key elements that go into a product listing. You have your title, images, 5 bullet points, and your product description. So within your title, and these are laid out in a way to where it's from most important to least important. So I'll even space out the description a little further down there because that's by far and away the least important out of these 4. So title, images are the most important, followed by the bullet points, and then a description is last. So what makes a good title? Well, you've seen so many variations of titles on Amazon, I'm sure, when you've done your own shopping and looking around. I'm sure you've seen really, really short titles, and I'm sure you've seen those really, really, really long titles that don't even make sense, that are just jam-packed with all sorts of keywords that don't even make coherent sense and are confusing, in fact. Well, what is the best way? Like, how should you create your title? Should it be short and sweet, or should it be that really, really long robotic sounding thing that's just jam-packed with keywords? My answer to that is I like to have a mixture of both. And what I mean by that is I like to have a medium-sized title, not too long, that is inclusive of your 3 or 4 most important keywords, but makes complete coherent sense to the buyer, because ultimately human beings are the people that buy our products on Amazon, not robots. So we want to first and foremost always create our product listings to convert sales from a human being. Okay, the robotic algorithm, all the keyword research, the SEO, that stuff is secondary to the actual copywriting, in my opinion. That's how I've always approached it, and that's what's worked for me. So I'm going to show you a couple different examples of product listings on Amazon, 2 vastly different listings, just to show you what it looks like in the real world. So I've pulled up these 2 listings already. This is a popular brand, as I'm sure you've heard of, the Yeti coolers, and this is typical of any big brand such as Yeti. 99% of these large brands who are on Amazon they're not Amazon sellers, meaning that they don't specialize in selling on Amazon, so they're not obsessing over the perfect title, the perfect bullets, or the perfect images, as you can see here, because Amazon isn't their main source of revenue. This is just kind of like additional money for them that they just, hey, let's just throw it up on Amazon and see how it does. Again, they don't dedicate 24 hours a day, 365 a year to selling on Amazon because it's just not their main focus. So, and you can see that. I mean, this title is 5 words. It's very, very, very short. The bullet points are very short. They're not eye-catching or attention-grabbing in any way, shape, or form. And even the images are very, very, they didn't even edit out the background when they took it on a blank white sheet, as you can see here. I mean, everything is very, very subpar in this listing, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's still a bestseller. And that's because they have a big, big brand presence outside of Amazon. And it just, people already trust Yeti. Yeti doesn't need to juice up their listing in any way because it just doesn't matter for them. So let's contrast that to this guy. So look at the differences here, right? Look at how long this title is. Look at how long that title is. It's one, it's always a good idea to keep your title, and Amazon apparently favors titles that are under 120 characters. Let's just do a quick character count here. So we can go in another tab, type in char counter, right? 200 characters. This is a very, very long title. Is that going to kill this guy? No, it's obviously not killing him because he's selling quite a lot. He's got 420 reviews, 166 questions. He's definitely selling a lot of product. I just don't believe it looks right. It's all over the place, right? So again, he's got a very long title. He's got extremely long bullet points, but I can 1000% guarantee you that his product is far more SEO optimized from a keyword standpoint than this listing. And I'm sure anyone with common sense would also make that same initial judgment. But which one is better? Which one actually produces more results? That's the question. And I didn't even check out the descriptions of the two. This guy's got a enhanced description, which means he is probably brand registered. We'll get into that later on, but you can have enhanced product descriptions that include images, graphs such as this, like tables, things of that nature. But you have to be brand registered. It's not open to everybody. Most likely you're going to be starting out with the standard sort of Amazon product description. Let's see if this guy has it. Nope, they're enhanced as well because they're obviously a huge brand. But regardless, it's not a big deal one way or the other. So these are basically the two drastically contrasting styles of listing. I like to do something in between. Okay, I would have a title about half the length of this, but still longer than this, right? My bullet points would be close to this guy's right here, but maybe slightly shortened. It all depends. I think it's a little bit much, but let's check out the images. Images are not bad. Images are higher quality than Yeti, in fact. So why am I pointing all this out? Well, the reason I'm pointing this out is back to this Yeti example. And this Yeti example is pretty streamlined for all of these major brands that are on Amazon. We are not major brands. We are small businesses that are trying to compete with these big brands, and Amazon gives us that opportunity to literally compete side by side with Yeti and Sony and Nike and Adidas and any other one you can think of. Our listing could literally be listed right next to this Yeti cooler, which is amazing. That's the opportunity that Amazon provides us. But how in the hell are we going to compete with this Yeti cooler if we have our own cooler? The only way we're going to compete with them is if we go above and beyond expectation and just absolutely do everything we can within our product listing to sell the customer. How are we going to do that? Well, we need a great title. We need great images. We need really good copywriting in our bullet points, and we need a good description. That's about the only way we're going to compete with Yeti. We need to be better than them from a listing standpoint. I mean, what else can we do, right? Amazon is a fixed platform, meaning that everyone on this platform has 7 images, a title, 5 bullet points, and a description. That doesn't change for anybody, no matter who you are. We all get the same real estate to work with. Relatively, I understand that certain categories may have certain different limits, but whatever, it's pretty irrelevant. We all have relatively the same real estate to work with. So we need to be better than Yeti from a listing standpoint, from an optimization standpoint, and from a copywriting standpoint. And that's the only way we're going to compete. And obviously price helps as well. So with that being said, we're going to get into some specifics in the next videos on how exactly to go out there, construct our listing from scratch, and all that stuff. So stay tuned. See ya. All right, so you know what the listing basics are. You know how the outline goes. What is the first step? How do we actually go about tackling a product listing? Where to get started and how to do it? And what you're seeing on your screen right here is an article that I read a few years ago, basically right as I started getting into this business. Now it says November 18th, 2013. So it was written a while back, but when I read this article, it really sort of changed my outlook and gave me some great ideas on how I can do things in my own business. And this guy right here is known as the Amazon Whisperer. You don't really hear much about him anymore. He got some hype when this article first came out, but he's pretty much died off since then. But this guy built a $100 million Amazon business. Yeah, 100 million. And the main thing that he credited his success to was the fact that he had a team of people that were dedicated to analyzing all of the top reviews, 5-star reviews, and 1-star reviews of all of his competitors. He would then analyze, take that information, take all the aspects and features that people loved about a given product, and then all the aspects people hated, and then use that information, use the actual real market information to construct his own products. He then knew what features to include in his own products that he was sourcing, which ones to leave out, how to write his listing copywriting based on the reviews, because the market was straight up telling him what they wanted and what they did not want in a given product. And just for a simple example of what I'm talking about, somewhere in this article, I can't really remember, but they used the example of this Bluetooth speaker where if he saw in a negative review, if he was looking to source a Bluetooth speaker, he thought that was going to be a good product opportunity, he would go to all of the top-selling Bluetooth speakers, he'd analyze their reviews, and let's say he stumbled across a 1-star review of a Bluetooth speaker, and in the review, the person had said, "Man, I wish this speaker was waterproof." Well, he would then write that down. He would know for a fact that he wanted his Bluetooth speaker to be waterproof. And then he would advertise that everywhere he could inside of his actual listing. And that's just one simple example. And most of the time, there's 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 areas of important things like that, important features that you can actually, you don't have to reinvent the wheel or come up with the stuff on your own, because luckily with Amazon's review system, the actual people, the actual buyers of Amazon products tell us exactly what they want and exactly what they don't want. So it makes our job easy. You might feel overwhelmed, and you should feel overwhelmed when you're trying to actually come up with all this stuff on your own, because it's not easy just to manufacture features and ideas in your head about a product, especially about a product that you don't even know anything about, or a niche that you don't know anything about, or a target market demographic that you don't know anything about. Analyzing their reviews inside and out solve all of those problems for us. We can enter any new niche, any new product category, and become experts within 30 minutes to an hour of just simply analyzing all the reviews and seeing what type of language the people are conveying to us in those reviews. So I hope that's a big tip for you guys. I know it sounds pretty simple on the surface, but it's something that drastically changed the way I view everything. And this is still the approach that I like to take today because it has the most effective results for me. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. What you're seeing right here is sort of my formula that I use to create product listings. And yes, you will also be getting this Google Sheet for free. This is a copywriting and listing creation formula that I developed. And just one thing I want you to keep in mind, because I know you're probably thinking, well, what about keywords? Well, keywords are going to come secondarily. We're not even going to focus any attention on keywords at this moment. We're only focused on creating our title, bullets, and description right now, with 0 keyword consideration, believe it or not. And the reason I do that is because, as I said in the prior video, our Amazon listings are first and foremost supposed to be catered toward our buyers, which are human beings, right? Keywords are for the Amazon algorithm so we can get ranked and indexed and all that stuff. But what actually converts sales to real human beings is copywriting and selling and all that. That's why I always write my listings first with 0 keyword consideration, and then after I'm very, very happy with the listing, I then go back and weave in all of my keywords where they may fit. So the end result ends up being a highly optimized listing from a consumer human being standpoint, as well as the Amazon algorithm, but it still flows smoothly, and to the eye, you cannot tell that I was forced feeding keywords into the listing. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining that, but I think it'll all make sense once we actually go through the real examples here. So let's go over this sheet real quick. Crafting a professional and unique product listing that drives sales. Understand the market and niche inside and out. Figure out what people like, what they don't like in advance. Address common questions, concerns head on in your listing, turning negatives into positives. Tell real stories and make things personal. Make your main image truly stand out from the pack to grab the click. Okay? And these are kind of the steps that I actually go through. So the beauty with Amazon is that we're able to enter brand new markets and niches with absolutely zero prior knowledge and become a master within days. How do we do that? Well, by leveraging the proof and data from our competitors. If you already know that your top 3 competitors are selling $30K of a product per month, wouldn't you assume there are probably common elements and themes inside each of those listings that buyers seem to be attracted to, right? Their products are obviously popular in some way. Why is that? Well, we need to do a deep dive into the best 5-star reviews of our competitors, as well as the worst 1-star reviews. Make a list of all the best things people love about the product and a separate list of all the things people hate about the product. You'll notice that there will be 5 to 10 positives, 5 to 10 negatives that are undeniable and consistent throughout each bestseller. Congrats, you literally now know exactly what the market wants before you even source. Now, we've now figured that out. Best of all, we know the exact language of the market, the customer who actually buys our products. So we then take all the worst and most disliked features from the other listings and weave them in as positives. So that, and here's an example, just sort of threw this together. Sticking to our camping tent, and I know I've been doing a workout glove in the previous examples, and we're going to get back to that, but I want to show you this example. So for just a camping tent, okay, a common complaint may be, this tent has cheap flimsy stakes that don't hold up. That means in your listing that you'll be sure to say, our tent includes dual reinforced stakes that can stand up during a hurricane force winds. You kind of see where I'm going with this? We take what is not liked in our competitors and we spin that into a positive in our own listing. So again, another great tactic here. Tell meaningful and relatable stories. Remember that time in your childhood when your dad took you out camping for the first time? You probably thought it was the coolest thing on the planet. You can relive that nostalgic feeling over and over again with our tent because it's family friendly and can easily fit 3 people. Again, it's a bad example, but you get the point. I threw this together. I'm sure you could come up with something better. Click-through rate. Now, what is CTR or click-through rate? Well, it's huge on Amazon, and it's when someone is scrolling through the page, you need what's called a pattern interrupt. That makes them stop and say, hey, this looks unique. This is referred to as capturing the click, and a simple way to have 100% unique and eye-catching main image. So, yeah, just to clarify that. What we're trying to do is when someone scrolls down and they're scrolling down the top 16 camping tents, how is our main image going to stand out from the other 15 so the customer actually clicks on ours and ignores theirs? That's really, really huge on Amazon. That's called CTR, click-through rate, capturing the click. And the best way to achieve a high CTR is to have a really, really good main image. That's basically what this bullet point right here is saying. So we need to really focus on our main image. Well, you may think, well, this is all great information and all, but how are we going to do this in the real world? Well, we are going to do that right now. All right, so as you can see, the page here looks a little different now. That's because I've already gone and done the work, because otherwise it would take a while. It's somewhat of a lengthy process, but it's something you can bang out within an hour or two, even if you're brand new. And it's highly well worth your time. It's time well spent. So here we go. I went and analyzed all the best-selling camping tents. Okay, I typed in camping tent to Amazon right here. I used my Helium 10 X-ray because, again, the listings you see here are not always going to be the actual best sellers. You understand? In order to actually dial in what the best sellers are, it's much easier to use a tool such as the Helium 10 X-ray that actually displays us and tells us exactly how many units and the revenue that they're bringing in. So I ran the X-ray on camping tent. Obviously you can see it gets a ton of search traffic. It's 90,000 a month, which is crazy. Obviously a very, very competitive product. And yeah, I went through all the top guys here based on, I sorted it by revenue again. And analyzed their reviews from the 5 stars to the 1 stars. And this was the result that I got. Okay, so the positives, and I'm not going to read through all of them because you can see this and you're going to get the sheet like I said, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But again, all these positives and all these negatives, this is essentially our framework right here for our own listing. This is what we already know what are the topics for our bullet points are going to be. Our images, what are we going to really advertise in our listing? Well, we're going to highlight all the positives and we're going to make sure to include these in our listing. And again, we're talking from a listing standpoint as well as product design standpoint. And we're also going to make sure that we spin some of these negatives into positives. Make sure that some of the negatives in the reviews are not going to be a reality in our product, as compared to them. So how can we make sense of this all? Well, you see this tab down here, write listing first and then weave in the keywords, right? So we need to write the listing first. And here's the top features of your competitors and the top complaints and dislikes of your competitors' products. You need to make a full list, 2 separate lists. I've done that here already, but you need to do that for your product. Complete these lists first, and then they will serve as your base for writing your title, bullets, and description. Write your listing first with 0 keyword consideration again. Good copywriting is meant to convert a sale to a human being, not a robot. Once you're happy with the listing, then go back and weave in all of your single words from before. This is easily done using Helium 10 scribbles. We'll get into that later. What I want to show you here is just how I went and transformed this Coleman tent listing from its boring, lackluster self into what it really should be. So I literally went and did a listing makeover of this product that you can see here. So this is the original Coleman tent product listing. Okay. Coleman, it's it's a bad title. Look at the bullet points. There's very few words. It's very corporate-esque, right? There's no selling going on or anything of that nature because they're a big brand. The images are extremely boring. Just a million different angles of the same product. And what would it look like if I were going out there and sourcing a camping tent? Well, let's take a look. New listing based on our tactics from the previous tab. Well, this is what my Coleman tent listing would look like. Little better, right? And by the way, all of our major keywords are already weaved into this listing, but it's kind of tough to even tell because it was first written with the consumer's mind at heart, not the keyword driven Amazon algorithm. You'll have all the time in the world to look this over and read the bullet points, read the title, and see what I've done. But just take a moment to observe the differences. What have I done exactly? Well, I've directly spoken to our target customer, giving them exactly what they want when it comes to a camping tent. Not only is this listing going to convert at a high rate, but our most important keywords are also weaved in. Again, what is our final result? Steroid-induced listing that is both optimized for human beings and the A9 algorithm. This is exactly what we've gone out and done. Literally gone out and just completely revamped this Coleman 10 listing using my formula, using my criteria, and I'm pretty pleased with the final result. Again, I can do this pretty fast now because I've done this so many times over again. This might take you a while, and it should, to be honest with you. It should take you a while. Again, you have about 30 days downtime from when you place your order to where you can just focus extremely hard on this. You'll be just fine. It's not as daunting as it sounds, especially when you have this course as well as these free Google Sheets that I'm going to share. Hope that was kind of a mind blower for you. I hope that was helpful. And I will get into more stuff, and I will get into keyword research in the next video. Thanks. All right. So what I want you to do now is just set aside that listing that we just created. Remember, we created a listing from scratch, largely based on the positive reviews, the negative reviews, the best features and the worst features of our competitors. That served as our groundwork and our baseline for creating our own listing. And remember, we created the listing with 0 keyword consideration because we wanted it to be the most highest converting for the consumer, which is human beings, not robots. Now, we're going to set the listing aside and we're going to dive into keyword research, and we're going to discover all of the keywords that we need to be including in our listing if we want the highest amount of visibility on Amazon. Okay, so how in the heck are we going to do that? Well, luckily for you, again, I have my keyword research formula, and you're going to get this Google Sheet for free as well. And I like to call this 4-step keyword domination. And what this is, obviously you can read this yourself. Let's just start with step number 1 and get into this. So, we need to search Amazon, find the top 15 to 20 bestsellers of your product. If you have Helium-10, simply use the X-ray, of course. Analyze their titles along with using your own common sense. You should find a common theme of the same 1 to 2 keyword phrases being repeated over and over again. This is where you need a keyword tool. You probably know which tool I recommend, right? The Helium-10 magnet. Use the magnet tool. Once this list is populated, sort by exact phrase. What we've been doing throughout the whole course, you should be pretty used to this by now. So you have the highest search at the top and in descending order. Now you should have a pretty clear idea of what your main keyword is. Just make sure it's 100% related to your product, because sometimes the tool will spit out unrelated keywords, as you've seen. Simply hit the X next to any keyword in the list that doesn't relate to yours. What do you say we just do it real quick again for a quick refresher? Here I am at Helium-10, and we're going to go to their keyword research tool right here, which is called the magnet. And we can get full validation whether we're right about our main keyword guess. I'm just going to type in camping tent. And let's let it do its thing. Okay. Next step, exact phrase search volume. Let's click that so we can sort from highest to lowest. Camping accessories, not related, X. Interesting, huh? So tents for camping might actually be our main keyword as opposed to camping tent. So that's interesting, right? And again, you would never ever know this unless you had a keyword tool. That's why keyword tools are simply necessary in your business if you want to perform at the highest level. So tents for camping or camping tent, either one of those will suffice. So we found our main keyword, right? We're just going to say tents for camping because that's what the data says. What's step 2? We need to make our keyword list. Now we have our base set in place. We have our main keyword. 90% of our secondary keywords will be derived from our main keyword. That's why step 1 is so important. Remember that big list of keywords that helium-10 magnet spit out for us? Right here. Well, go ahead and keep it sorted using the same exact match filter. Now proceed to delete all the keywords that are irrelevant to your product, such as brands, etc. So let's do that. Pop-up tent, inflatable mattress, Coleman tent, that's a brand. Lanterns, nope. I'm just gonna sort of get rid of everything here that's not related. Camping bed, that's a brand. 3-person tent, family camping tents, tent light, camping light, 1-person tent, outdoor tent. Again, we need the word to be 100% relatable to our product. Whatever, we'll just keep pop-up tents even though I deleted the one before. And if we hit the 2 here, go to the next page, and then if we actually scroll down and go back to the first page, the first page will repopulate with more results. So where did we leave off? We left off with this right here: large tent, camping lamp, instant tents for camping, waterproof tent, easy up tent, small tent. And again, whatever your product is, however it's designed, you're going to include or exclude any of these keywords that make sense for you. Nope. Okay. A lot of searches on how many people can fit in the tent. Kind of interesting, I guess. Nope. All right, so let's go do one more narrow down. Let's go to page 2, then back to 1, so it re-assimilates. Again, because it's organizing it by exact phrase search volume, so all the ones I delete, it's going to repopulate with the next best option. Let's just go through it again. Inflatable, airbeds, dome tent, camp tent, blow up mattress. And again, if you're not sure if the keyword is completely relevant to your product, this little button right here, you see I'm mousing over, show Amazon search result by this keyword. We click that, it actually pops it up in Amazon with the search term, and we can see exactly if it is relevant or not. And this looks like it definitely is, so we'll leave that one there. Nope. Don't know what a backpack tent is. I've seen that before. I guess it is relevant enough for us. Okay, whatever, I'll just leave that in there. So look, obviously if you have a 2-person tent, we're going to X out all of these. If you have a 6-person tent, you're going to X out the other ones. So my point is, you want to keep the ones that are just the absolute most relevant to your product. For this example, I'm just going to use this list as our list. And what I'm literally going to do is come over here and I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to just create another tab here and just paste it here. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything besides the right here. I like to keep this information for later, and you'll see why. Go ahead and delete this column. Let's just get this nice and organized. Let's unlink all this stuff. Okay. And let's just make this look nicer. Okay. So we have in descending order our most relevant keywords for our product based on the exact phrase search volume. It's a lot of search volume, as you can see. That's a ton of keyword depth. Obviously, because camping tents are just massively saturated and popular. Disregard these numbers off to the side here. These will be used at a later date. But all we want to focus on right now is column A and column B. That's all we care about at this moment. Our keyword and our exact phrase search volume. So what are we going to do? Let's refer back to our sheet. What does it say in step 2? We want maybe 30 to 100 keyword phrases. Copy and paste for reference. Done. We actually have 140, so we're good. We got it. Step 3. We need to break this list down into single words. Okay. Did you know that in terms of your Amazon listing being indexed for keywords, all Amazon cares about is single words? So let me try to explain this to you in the best way possible. These exact phrases here are the phrases that get typed into Amazon where people find and buy your product, right? But in order to be found for these phrases in the first place, we need to be indexed by Amazon for all of the individual words within all of these phrases. So in other words, let's say in our title we have Coleman camping tent, one of the best tents for camping. Let's say that's our title. It would have essentially the same impact as if our title was Tents for Camping Coleman. So again, it doesn't have to be the exact way that it's displayed here, as long as all the single words are just in the listing somewhere. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little weird. I think you'll see what I mean here in a minute. And don't get me wrong, we need to keep this list here the way it is, but we're just going to create a secondary list, sheet 3 here, that I'm just going to rename single words. Okay. It's going to be based off of this list here that we already did. So I'm going to take this list, copy it. And this is again where Helium 10 comes in. Again, I'm sure there's other tools out there that can do this, but I don't like to mess around because everything is in one central location with Helium 10. That is another reason why I love it. So we're going to go to Frankenstein, a keyword processing tool. We're literally going to copy and just paste all those words into here. We're going to keep spaces. We're going to remove duplicates, right? Because all we want is unique single words here. We'll protect numbers because there may be a number in a given keyword. You never know. That's fine. That's fine. So this is the filters criteria that we need. We're then going to hit process. Watch what happens. Oops. Okay, I screwed that up. That is my bad. We forgot to check off a filter. Add one word phrase per line. As you can see, we have 640 characters and 125 total words here. After we remove duplicates and all that, let's see what happens. 152 characters and 35 total words. These are all the single words that we need to include in some way to our listing. Is this not great information to have or what? Come back here and just copy and paste that. And again, my list usually is a lot longer than this because I usually go further. I usually go further on the magnet initial list, meaning that I'll dial this list down even further, maybe up to 100. I stopped at 40 just for the sake of the video. We then got all of our single words from it. Now what? What's step 4? Amazon autocorrects us for the most misspelled words, however, there are still some. Right. So, misspellings is interesting, right? There are some misspellings on Amazon, I'll show you in real time, where they autocorrect. So let's just do camping tent without the A. If you notice here, showing results for camping tent instead of the misspelling that I typed in. So they're auto-correcting. So essentially it doesn't really matter. The same listings that you would see for the correct spelling are going to show up down here. But there are certain phrases where Amazon does not autocorrect, and those phrases are going to have extremely low competition, and the majority of your competitors are not even going to be indexed for that misspelling. How can we go ahead and do that? Well, what we're going to do, take our single words, copy, go to the Helium 10 Misspellinator tool, paste, and prepare. Now, these are all of our single words. It did take out the numbers for us, but these are all of our most relevant single words for our listing. We're going to select all of them, and we're going to find misspellings. And I think your mind's going to be blown at the results. So let it do its thing for a minute. See what we come up with. Okay, so Helium 10 is done processing, and here are our results. So what do we decipher out of this? Well, the thing you want to pay attention to is this column here. Does Amazon autocorrect for these misspellings? And most of the time it'll already be selected off. If you have this filter up here, select a non-autocorrected misspellings. So look, not every single time will they be relevant enough for you to actually throw in, but I guess this is a tent misspelling. Amazon does not autocorrect for it. We're just going to make a list. Just copy and paste everything, over here, and let's keep going down. Tenant, okay, maybe a tent misspelling. All right. Perone, that looks like a person. There were a lot of keywords that had the word person in there. Maybe this too. Again, Amazon does not autocorrect for any of these. Families. See, look, this is a golden one, right? Because it's not exactly a misspelling, right? It's just a little bit of a punctuation error, and for whatever reason, Amazon doesn't autocorrect for it. Not even sure what this is supposed to be. Oh, 2. You can just decipher whatever you think. They might be worthwhile, maybe not. Pop. People. I think this is definitely a good one. Nope. Instant. I think that's a good one right there. Definitely good right here. Definitely good here. We'll go ahead and take this one as well. Manned, maybe, okay. Again, I would just copy them all. Single, okay, sure. camp. Maybe this one. Room. Pack back, book bag. All right, whatever. Pack back. Sure. Okay. So Amazon does not autocorrect for any of these. So where do we actually want to put these, right? Because we're not going to put misspellings in our listing. That would look horrible, wouldn't it? You'd be correct. It would look bad. We're not going to do that. These actually go into the back end of your listing called the search back-end search fields. We're going to cover that when we actually go into Amazon and I show you where to actually input your product listing. But we're going to save these for another day. I just like to get everything done on this 4-step process all in one shot. We're just going to set those off to the side, and for a later date in a later video, I'll show you what to do with them. So what have we done, right? We have our main keyword. We now have a full accurate list of our most searched for exact keyword phrases, which is invaluable information. We then broke that list down into single words. We then found that all the misspellings of those single words that Amazon does not auto-correct for. The base and glue for our product listing is now set. Let's set our keyword research aside and revisit after we finish our copywriting. Okay. Well, this is our keyword list. We have already finished our copywriting from the previous video. We need to now combine the two, right? What do you say we do that? All right. Probably by now you are wondering, Pete, what the hell, man? You haven't covered how to do product images? I thought those were one of the most important parts of the listing. You would be 100% correct. I haven't covered them. We're going to cover them here in this video. Hopefully I clear up any concerns that you have in regards to images. So in my eyes, there are 3 main ways to get your Amazon product photography done. And it just kind of depends what is the best fit for you at the given moment in time. So number 1 is local. And some benefits of having someone local, like a friend, is, the ease of just being able to hit up a friend. I think everyone has at least one friend who has a photography passion and has a professional camera. And that's just what he or she likes to do. And if you have one of those friends, that can be great, a great asset for you, because they can easily sort of snap any sort of photo that you want. They can make quick edits in an instant. You don't have to wait for an email if you go through a professional company. That you can just straight up meet with them in person to be like, hey, this needs to be changed. This needs to be changed. You can be ultra clear and concise with your demands. They can then edit exactly how you want. It's just easy. I find having a local person extremely easy. It's what I do currently for most of my product images because I just find it to be the most effective and efficient. Now, another option that you have is you can do them yourself with your smartphone. Your iPhone or Android will suffice. Most smartphones have good enough cameras now to where they can honestly take some really good quality photos. And this is the best option if you have zero budget, no doubt. It's a fast and easy way to get photos done on the fly, kind of like your friend, but you're actually even cutting out one other person now and just relying on yourself. So it is going to be the most efficient as far as ease and speed, right? So one thing that to keep in mind if you're going to do photos yourself is I highly, highly recommend that you at least get a quality light box. I've bought cheap light boxes in the past and they are awful. Do not be cheap with the light box. You need to actually get a good quality one. And just keep in mind, it might cost you $100 or $200 for the light box. First and foremost, that's going to be a lot cheaper than hiring a professional to do your images, or maybe even your friend. It might even be cheaper than your friend. And that's a one-time expense. So when you release product 2, 3, 4, and 5, that light box is still paid for. It's still going to serve you for the foreseeable future. It's a one-time expense, and I believe it's a very worthwhile investment. I'm going to show you exactly which light box I recommend. And in fact, I have a link to the light box I'm going to show you in the resources list of this course. Now, let's go to the professional online services. So this is by far the best option if you have money to spend and you want to do things at the highest level possible. Now, I know that kind of goes contrary against what I just said about the local thing. This is just my preference. Honestly, I will take slightly less quality images, and I may be a complete idiot for this. I will take slightly less quality just for the ease of being able to get images made exactly how I want them done. You may be different. You may not even want to deal with it and just simply, you might have money in the bank and just want to hire a professional service to take care of it for you, set it and forget it and not worry about it. And I completely understand that as well. I do have a service that I've used that, in my opinion, produced the highest quality professional photos for an online Amazon listing. They're really, really good. They're pricey, but that's just the way images are. Okay, image and video in regards to e-commerce, getting image content and video content made is very, very pricey, especially if you want it to be the best quality. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. And yeah, before I get into like my winning sort of image layout, how I design my own product images and how they should look, I'm just going to quickly show you, number one, the light box that you should get if you want to do them yourself, and number two, the online service that you should use if you want to get them done by a professional service. So let's first and foremost, the light box. This is the light box. It's actually made by Amazon's own brand. It's $135. Again, it may seem expensive on the surface. It's a one-time expense that will last you the rest of your life. It's extremely cheap. If you have any sort of photo skill, or maybe you even enjoy taking photos in your spare time, then this is a perfect option for you. If you want low budget, efficient, and just fully customizable at your fingertip photos, highly recommend this light box here. Again, there is a link in the resource list to buy this light box. That's option number one. Option number two is using this service right here, Pixel Perfect Photography. This is a professional online service. They produce extremely high quality photos, and you're going to pay for it. So let's go to their pricing. So 5 white background images, 1 lifestyle. It's going to cost you $600. Again, this is extremely typical. These guys are not outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. This is pretty in line with other professional services out there. And the reason these guys are good is because they have a good track record with Amazon sellers. They've done a lot of, they're very, very familiar with Amazon, and they know exactly what to look out for. They know exactly how to optimize and what Amazon likes. So that's the reason why these guys are good, is you don't have to worry about them not knowing what Amazon is all about. They specialize in Amazon. And what I also like about them is the fact that they include lifestyles. They even include an infographic here, and they even have a model available in this silver package here. In most other services, number one, they don't even offer infographics. And number two, if you want to actually get a talent such as a model in some of your photos, it's going to cost you an extra sort of fortune on top of your images. So big fan of how they include everything in one package. That's why I like these guys a lot. And they're very, very, very high quality images. So again, what's this? 9 white, so that's 12, 13. So for 13 images, including the option of having a professional model, it's $700. Again, on the surface, seems really expensive. That is a great deal in the scheme of things. So this is the service I highly recommend, Pixel Perfect Photography. Our services, you can read all about them. They do lifestyles, they do plain white background, they do models, they do wow images with graphic design, and hassle-free product shipping. See, that's kind of the difference with these guys, is the fact that most all other online image services, they can't do everything in one. They can't do graphic design or edits or graphical infographics, as well as model photography, static photography, and everything. These guys can do everything in one. That's why I find them to be the best. And how it works, you can read all about it. Pixel Perfect, there is also a link to this service in my resource list of this course if you want to check these guys out. So that's that. Now that we have our bases covered there, let me just quickly go over how I sort of structure my Amazon images. Let me blow this up a little bit. So this is based on 7 images. This is most likely going to be what your requirement is. Probably can't go past 7. Seems to be sort of the baseline now. In your main image, I've mentioned before, I believe, you have to have a pure white background. And knowing that, I make my main image with a pure white background with a very, very good quality, clear photo of the product. And be sure to include your free bonus if you are offering a free bonus, include that in the main image. See, not only are we going to increase our conversion rate in sales by offering that free bonus, but we're also going to increase our click-through rate and eyeballs to our listing. And which makes our ads convert better, which makes everything convert better. That's why the main image is so important. And if you have a free bonus that you're offering that you can throw into your main image, well, it's certainly going to stand out and look different from every single other competitor on Amazon, which is another amazing bonus of having a free bonus. So that's what I do for that. Number 2 and number 3, I like to have lifestyle and in-use photos. Lifestyle and or product in-use photos. You can even include some text in these photos. Is that against Amazon's terms of service? Yeah, but have I ever gotten in trouble for using text in my images? No, I have not. What would I do if Amazon got mad at me for using text in my images? I'd remove it. It's pretty simple. I mean, you're not going to get banned, knock on wood, for including text in your image. Seeing as how every single person does it, practically, if you look at Amazon, if you look at all the top selling listings, most of them have text in their images. Most of them are offending Amazon's terms of service egregiously. I'm not talking egregiously either for us. I like to have a lifestyle in use photo with just a little text or just a little arrow, nothing outrageous. Okay. Number 4, I like to have an infographic or a chart, and that Pixel Perfect service can make it for you. If you want to make one for free, I highly suggest you go to canva.com. They have a whole bunch of nice free infographic layouts that you can just make yourself. Pure white background image. Again, I kind of like to throw in another pure white background. It just looks nice and clean. Another lifestyle and or in-use photo. And number 7, I usually like to throw in a picture of everything that the customer is going to get in their order, which includes, hopefully you have really nice custom packaging that you can show off. If you don't have custom packaging and you have standard packaging, then don't show the packaging. It kind of depends on the situation, right? If you have really nice custom packaging, I would show the packaging next to the product you're selling, including the bonus. Show them the whole entire package that they're going to get in the order with a little bit of text in the form of a CTA, which could be anything like use so-and-so coupon code to save 10% right now, or hurry while supplies last, or be as aggressive or not aggressive as you want, or just not do that at all. Again, this is what I do. I'm not here to tell you that this is 100% within terms of service, because it's not. It's your business ultimately, and it's your decision. I haven't gotten flagged or gotten in trouble for doing any of these things in mine, so that's just why I'm recommending it here. But ultimately up to you. I'm not responsible for your business. So that's exactly how I go out there and construct my images. And yeah, I'll highlight a quick example on Amazon that might, so you can see a real life example. So let me, as I recall, Bluetooth speaker. So this Cambridge Soundworks guy has always caught my eye. He's got good images, right? Main image. What's his main image? It's a nice pure white background. It's big. It covers up the majority of the picture. This one, nice graphic. Really, really catches your eye. It's really attention grabbing with a little bit of text. Product in use, aka or lifestyle, with a little bit of text. Describing what is in the picture. Again, same thing. Sort of an infographic chart, if you will. More custom photos of the product with some text that shows its features. And again, and he has a video in place of where I would put our packaging / CTA image, just because he's a big seller, and Amazon allows big sellers currently to have videos in their listings. Soon enough, I believe that feature is going to be rolled out to everybody. That's exactly how I would go out and construct my images. One other tip I would have, what I like to do is sort of align whatever features that you order in your bullets, right? So I like to sort of align that with my images. So Superior sound quality with rich full bass is what I'm going to highlight in my first bullet point. I'm going to try to highlight that in my first image, and he does that actually. Funny enough, he does that. And I like to keep it that streamline. 100-foot range, he does that too. Okay? Play your music wirelessly. He's doing it exactly how I would do it. This guy knows what he's doing. He's a big seller. It's no mystery why he's absolutely crushing it on Amazon, because he knows what he's doing. Hope that's helpful. It gives you sort of a benchmark and a layout of what to do, what's going to convert the highest. It does, of course, vary based on your product, how many sort of lifestyles you can have. Use your own judgment and common sense. And that's that. We've covered product images, and now we're on to the next thing. Okay, so we are at an exciting part of the course. This is where we actually combine our keyword research along with our copywriting for our listing, and we then create our final listing copy. So this is going to be our final product, or finished product. We have not done the images yet. We're going to cover that in the next video, but this is our final product. We're going to get our title, bullets, and description all completely optimized, looking good, looking fresh for our new product launch. This is how it's done. And wouldn't you know it, we're going to use another tool within Helium 10 to make the listing creation process so easy for us. And this one is Listing Optimizer. It's called Scribbles. Yes, I know. What would I do without Helium 10? I might not be able to sell on Amazon. No, you can. You guys, you don't need Helium 10 or any other tool to be successful, but it can greatly help you out and increase your odds of success. I will say that. So you're going to see how this works. And again, there might be another tool that can do the same thing. I don't know. I don't really care. This is the tool that I use. So what are we going to do? Well, this is the copywriting that I came up with for the Coleman tent, right? And I was stupid and didn't save my results from before. So what I need to do is actually type all this out. I need to type in the title here. I need to type in, I actually did not make a description. I need to then type out each of the 5 bullet points. So that will take me a minute. I'll fast forward the video for you. Alright guys, so this is the finishing touches. We are going to finally make our completed product listing for the Coleman tent, or not the Coleman tent, but our camping tent. And this is how we do it. So all the work that we've done previously leading up to this is the moment where it all comes together, where the final product is made, and the final listing that we will then enter into Amazon in the next video. So here I am back at the Helium 10 Scribbles tool, our listing optimizing tool that we love so much, and I went ahead and inputted the title that we made for the tent. Okay, I copy and pasted the description that was already in the Coleman tent on Amazon, and here's the bullet points that we made. So what's the one thing missing now? What are we missing? We need to know. Now we need to know, what keywords are we using and which keywords are we missing out on? Like, how do we know that we've included all the right keywords into these title, bullets, and description so we can then enter it into Amazon with 100% confidence? Well, you don't know that, okay? But how we can find out very quickly and make sure with clarity is over here on the left, edit master keywords. So I'm going to go ahead and check this off. So the next step is to come over to our keyword research that we did a while ago. And remember our single words list that we got from the Helium 10 magnet tool? All of our most important single words. Remember, Amazon only cares about single words. There is no SEO benefit to repeating words. We copy that list, put it in here, and look what it does. Remember, unused keywords and used keywords. So every keyword here, these are our most important keywords. Every keyword that is used in the title, bullets, and description gets dumped down into this bucket right here, so we can be sure that it is in there and we don't have to worry about repeating it over and over again. All the ones left up here are ones that we should consider trying to weave into our title, bullets, or description in some way, shape, or form. And you never will get them all in there, and you don't want to get them all in there because you only want to fit the ones in that actually make sense and don't ruin the copywriting of the listing. All the ones that would not make sense and the less important ones, those are the ones that you want to stick in the back end of your listing search terms field. And we're going to get into that in the next video. When I show you how to add your product, you will know exactly where those go. So all the most irrelevant words and the words that are left over after the final listing is created, along with the misspellings that we got from using the Helium 10 misspellinator tool, those are the words that are going to go into your back end, because we don't want misspellings and all these irrelevant words, you know, up for display on our actual product listing page. That would look very, very bad. So how we get around that, right, is entering them into the back end search terms field. We'll get into that in the next video, so don't stress out about that. For now, let's go here, and basically, you know, we're doing a pretty good job with this list so far, but let's just have a look at the unused keywords. And are there some words in there that we can easily weave into the listing? So let's just go. Do we have 2, 3, family? So this is how I do it in the real world. So I might just simply stick family here. Outdoor family camping tent. Boom. Now family drops below into that second bucket of used keywords. Let's see. Instant. Where can we put instant? Let's see. I'm sure you could figure out somewhere that makes sense, right? You'll stay dry in a rainstorm, stable in a hurricane. Okay. You know, I would probably weave it in somewhere in bullet point 4 here, you know, set it up in an instant or something like that. Or put it in your description, or if it doesn't make sense, then throw it in the back end. Hiking we could probably throw in somewhere, right? So let me see here. Maximum efficiency. You get the point, guys. I'm not going to sit here and spend all day. I mean, you can do this yourself with your own listing. Just wherever it makes sense, weave in one of these words into the listing to, you know, to make sure it gets indexed. And you can even do it in places that doesn't even make sense. So let me run that example by you. So you see here, immune to all 4 seasons. Well, that has nothing to do. The number 4 has nothing to do with a 4-person camping tent, right? But it doesn't matter because we're still using the number 4 right here on the bottom, 4. So you can fit stuff in a clever manner that is not necessarily intended to go there, but it doesn't matter. It still makes clear sense, and you're still indexing for that single word. So I love doing things like that. Like, you know, I'm sure we could fit the word small in, and camp very, very easily. Backpack, man, we could fit all these words in very easily. And the finished product, let's just literally, I'm going to edit this. I'm just going to take, let's say, from here on, copy it, and just paste it here. So you can see, right? So in the real world, let's just say we have these left. So I would take these right here, copy these, come back here and just paste them here and leave them off to the side. So these right here, the leftover keywords from our listing as well as the misspellings, these are the words right here that I'm going to save for the next video, in which I want to put in the back-end search term field. So we're done, essentially, guys. We're done. We have our completed listing. All we then do is copy the title, copy the description, copy the bullets, and we paste them into Amazon. It's that simple. And also remember for the description that it has to be entered in the HTML format that I showed you how to do. And don't worry, I have you covered here on the cool copywriting spreadsheet that I'm sharing with you. If you scroll down, I have the description layout of what you should do. So Highlight the major features that you didn't have room for in the title and bullets. It's also a good idea to repeat 1 or 2 of your best features. Maybe address some FAQs like, is this tent waterproof? Question mark. Is how big is this tent? Blah blah blah. Throw in some leftover less important keywords if you have any. Maybe a little bit of a brand story, and throw in a CTA at the bottom. You know, a CTA meaning call to action, just saying like, scroll up and order yours today, we have a limited supply, something simple like that. Because if you look at a listing framework on Amazon, you want, you know, the description is at the bottom, right? You don't want the customer to actually get down that far. That's what we call, you know, if they've gone down that far already, then we're already kind of losing them. We want them, we want to do everything in our power to get them to go back up to the top, right near where that orange add to cart button is. So that's what the CTA, this call to action, is meant for. You know, we want to guide them and sort of hold their hand back up to the top and sort of walk them through the checkout. Just kind of envision that in a real life scenario. So that's that, a little description layout for you. Here's the link to that HTML description editor that I showed you. And that's that, guys. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly where to enter your listing, how to choose a category, and how to do all that stuff. We're getting close to being able to launch. We're getting everything in place, and we're doing it up right. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you in the next video. So I want to sort of recap what we've done and provide clarity to everything we've done, because there's a lot of moving parts, and I may not have explained it all very well because I'm moving pretty fast. And what I really wanted just to cover was, you know, we made this listing based on the positives and the negatives from the top selling competitors, right? And as you can see, I weaved the positives and I weaved in the negatives as positives wherever I could in this listing here. So, you know, one of the complaints was the camping tent was heavy or not durable. So our camping tent is lightweight yet durable at the same time. One of the complaints, it can't fit up to 4 people. Ours can fit up to 4 people along with your canine companion. Okay, one of the complaints, this camping tent doesn't stand up in the wintertime or the spring, whatever. Immune to all 4 seasons because we use the finest polyester with military-grade polyurethane coating. You'll stay dry in a rainstorm, blah, blah, blah. And one of the common complaints was has no ventilation. Unique ventilation system. Could you come up with something better than unique ventilation system? I'm sure you probably could. Huge difference, right? This is another big complaint. Unlike cheap tents that don't come with a footprint, this was a direct complaint in one of the reviews. This tent doesn't come with a footprint. And also use cheaply made stakes. Okay, our tent includes double stake, anchor technology, and a battle-tested nylon footprint mat. It's like being in a luxury cabin. Heavy-duty zippers, another complaint, right? Cheap zippers, and sticks, then tie it all together. You can see how I'm kind of going with this. I'm literally copy and pasting almost the positives and negatives and then just rewording them. Our 100% weather-resistant tent, so easy to set up. This was another complaint. Tent is hard to set up. It takes forever. That's why I even specified the minutes, because there was a minute specification somewhere. Setup took 15 minutes from start to finish. And again, one thing I want to reiterate is don't lie. You shouldn't be lying. What happened to my image? Okay. You shouldn't be lying in any of these things that you're saying. Like, you need to make sure that your product actually can deliver on all of the things that you mentioned in the bullets. Otherwise, you just look stupid, right? Effortlessly pack it back up. This was definitely a major complaint on a lot of the listings, is that there was no instruction manual on how to set up and take down the tent. What are we going to do in our listing? Definitely include a detailed instruction manual. Boom. Industry leading. Okay, the warranty. And this is, some random quote. If you don't have a review already of someone who has said something, then just simply disregard this or put in something else. But You can get the gist of this, right? I've taken all the biggest negatives, turned them into positives, basically trying to cover as many bases as humanly possible. And at the same time, I'm speaking the exact customer language that we derive from the reviews. This is really, really powerful stuff. I'm by no means here to tell you that I'm a professional copywriter. I'm far from that. There are people that are way, way, way better than me at that. But guys, you don't need to be a professional copywriter is the point I'm trying to make. The customers provide it already for us, okay? All that other stuff is overrated. You can get all this stuff done yourself, just in the same way that I've done it here, and probably even better. And yeah, this is exactly how it's done, how I go out and do it in the real world with all of my listings. We have just created a listing from scratch. Hope you found it extremely useful. We even then went in and weaved in all of our best keywords to make sure they were in our title, to make sure they were in our bullets, using the Helium 10 Scribbles tool. In the next video, we're going to get into some more things, but for now, I will see you then. What's up, guys? So we need to actually print out our UPC barcodes for our products. Now, what are barcodes? Well, every single product on Amazon requires a unique product identifier, they call it. And that usually is in the form of a barcode. They can come in a few different shapes and sizes. They can either be UPCs, they can be EANs, or they can be GTINs. For our sake, just the ASIN number alone is not going to be good enough for us because you have to be brand registered in order to use your ASIN number as your unique product identifier. We're going to bypass that. We're focused on UPC, EAN, and or GTIN. And GS1, this is the website you see here on the home page. This is GS1. GS1 is the leader in barcode distribution. These are real government issued barcodes. These are the highest quality, the most legit, they're just the best barcodes you can get. And unfortunately, you pay a pretty penny for them. I think it's a few $100s for 10 barcodes. It's a couple $100. It sucks. It's a ripoff. I hate it. We all hate it. But if you really want to do things the right way, this is what you're going to want to do. Make the investment to go with GS1. This is the king of barcodes, and this is what Amazon flat out plain says in their terms of service. They want GS1 issued barcodes. Now, I will say this. I have used many other third-party sort of knockoff barcode websites and had zero issues. I know many, many other sellers that just get sick to their stomach when they have to pay this much money for a GS1. So they go with one of these $5 knockoff barcodes and have had no trouble. That's up to you. It's your business, and you can make your own decisions. But if you wanted to go with a cheap route, just simply come over here to Google, type in cheap UPC barcodes, and a slew of websites will come up, and you have many options for third-party sites where you can basically just speedy barcodes. I think I've used these guys before, actually. And look, so 1,000 barcodes is $230. I guess they're running a special, actually $180. You're not going to need 1,000 barcodes. We can come down here, 1 barcode or 5 barcodes. Remember, each unique product needs its own unique barcode. So one product needs 1 barcode. And but also keep in mind that if your product has variations, each variation needs its own barcode. So if you're selling a t-shirt that has white, black, and brown, you need 3 barcodes. Even if they're all on the same listing, it doesn't matter. So, look how cheap that is. So 10 barcodes for $15. 10 barcodes on GS1 is going to cost you like $200 or $250. Now, do I think you'd be okay if you went with speedy barcodes here over GS1? Yeah, I think you would, but you're going to have to make that decision yourself. I'm not going to sit here and make any guarantees and then have you come back at me and say, hey, Pete, you got my account banned. What's wrong with you? It's your decision, guys. I'm not here to make your own business decisions for you. I recommend going with GS1 because you're going to have 0 issues. Amazon is going to like it. And every online platform is going to like GS1 because you have to think about the big picture. if you want to be a true dominant player in e-commerce for the foreseeable future, then you're not just going to be selling on Amazon most likely. You're going to be selling on your own website. You're going to be selling maybe on eBay, maybe Jet.com, maybe Walmart.com. All these other platforms are also going to require a barcode. And if you have a GS1, a legally government-issued GS1 barcode, your butt is going to be covered on every platform, not just Amazon. So again, I like GS1. It's an investment. If you want to go the cheap route, go with something like Speedy Barcodes or any of these other websites. I'm not here to recommend one over the other, but that's that. Get your barcodes all straight, and then I'll see you in the next video. What's going on, guys? So in this video, it's time for us to actually add our product into Amazon. So we've created our awesome copywriting for our listing. We've done our keyword research. We then combined the two into make an awesome and complete listing. We made our images. So we've put all the pieces together, right? We've put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Now we actually have to input the information in Amazon and list our product so it's actually available for sale. So this is definitely a fun part of the journey. So you're getting close to making your first sale. And what do you say we go ahead and get started? Now, if you remember from a previous video where I showed you how to get ungated for certain categories, we're kind of starting in a similar way in this video, because the first thing you're going to have to do before you actually start putting in all the information about your product is list a category, is choose a category and a subcategory. So that's what we need to do first. And I'm first going to highlight, well, which category and subcategory should I choose? Is there a special strategy to choosing a specific subcategory? And let me just tell you this. There's all sorts of strategies and I guess hacks that you could say for choosing subcategories. And from my experience, don't get caught up in that. Just for the most part, in general, you just want to choose what is the most relevant for your product. There really is nothing else that you want to do or secret hack. Now, I am going to show you in 1 second things to be aware of, okay, when you're choosing your subcategories that I think might be a little bit eye-opening, and you can kind of view through the lens of somebody who's been doing this for a long time and kind of see how I think about things and how things really are kind of behind the scenes that you don't even notice when you're shopping on Amazon. So I'm going to come over here to Amazon, and I just typed in camping tent. And for the sake of this video, we're just going to be listing a brand new camping tent, okay? So I'm just going to come down to this Coleman tent that I've referred to throughout the course. And we need to just, in theory, right? In theory, we're going to be selling a tent that's literally, the same as this Coleman tent, okay? Let's just, for the sake of this video. So we know that whatever category and subcategory that the Coleman tent is in is probably going to be the best, most relevant for us, right? Well, let's just make sure and check. So we scroll down his page, and this is where you can view the category. Amazon bestsellers rank. So he's 116 in sports and outdoors. Okay, sports and outdoors is the very, very broad umbrella category that he's in. But more importantly, we need to dial into this subcategory. So sports and outdoors, outdoor recreation, camping and hiking, tents and shelters, tents, family camping tents. So he's in family camping tents. Let's come over here and see if we can actually match that up. Okay. So let's go create new product listing. Let's see if we can go sports and outdoors, outdoor recreation, camping and hiking, tents and shelters, tents. Wow, family camping tent. So we can match exactly what the Coleman guy is doing and make sure, and we'll have certainty that we're listing in the right category. Now, let me walk you through this scenario. So we know what subcategory he's in. Let's scroll back up. See this Amazon Choice badge? He's the Amazon Choice for camping tent. Now, Amazon Choice, I think I do explain at some point throughout the course what it is. It's directly linked to the Amazon Alexa voice system. So when, for example, if somebody has an Alexa in their home and they were to say, hey, Alexa, order me a camping tent, right? That's what you see right here. Order me a camping tent. Alexa's going to automatically add this Coleman tent to the person's cart and purchase it for them. How powerful is that, right? So you can have Amazon choice badges and they're keyword based. So he might have more than one choice badge for different keywords, right? He might have 100. He might be Amazon choice for outdoor camping tent or small camping tent. He might be that for all of them, but since I typed in camping tent up here in the search address bar, that's why it's showing camping tent right here. So another hypothetical. So let's say instead of that Amazon choice badge, he was a best seller in the subcategory. And in order to have a best seller's badge in any given subcategory, you have to be the #1 bestseller in that given subcategory. So on first glance on the surface, if I was going to go out in the real world, source a camping tent that was identical to the Coleman tent, and I know that he is the best seller in his subcategory, and I know that he's a big, massive brand to begin with, my first gut instinct is not going to be to list in the same subcategory because I probably have a very slim to none chance of getting an Amazon choice badge for this keyword like he is, or a bestseller badge in the subcategory. So I'm probably going to stray away from this subcategory that the Coleman tent is in and try to find one that is like, easier, less competition, where it's sort of low-hanging fruit that I know I can go after and achieve these badges for. So let's go back here. We have family camping tents, backpacking tents. I would probably list in either expedition or backpacking tents, and I would stay away from the subcategories that have all the big brand name players in it or are where the most competitive people are. That's my gut instinct. I hope that makes sense to you. You will have a very hard time achieving Amazon choice or bestseller badges if you were to list in family camping tents, in my opinion, because you're going to be going toe-to-toe, head-to-head with the Coleman tent. Let me run one other quick scenario by you that is going to be a little bit mind-blowing, probably. So I typed in barbecue gloves here on Amazon, okay? I scroll down, and this guy caught my eye right here. He's the best seller, right, on the surface. The customer sees this bestseller badge next to his glove, they're going to be like, damn, that's the glove I'm going to go with. This must be the best barbecue glove on Amazon. I'm not even going to bother hovering over the bestseller badge to see what it says, because it doesn't matter, right? It's all about the impulse. It's all about the instant attention grab, and they see this nice little orange badge next to a product, they're going to click on it. So the funny thing is, he's the #1 bestseller in barbecue claws. Not even barbecue gloves. Okay, barbecue gloves are his main product. The claws are just a little added bonus. So I just find that to be pretty funny. And you'll see this, scattered around Amazon on occasion. On occasion, you'll see something, you'll literally see, for example, like a camping tent, #1 bestseller in home goods or kitchen accessories. You can see some pretty crazy stuff on Amazon, and people are just trying to game the system is all they're trying to do. They're trying to get bestseller badges. They don't really care what the bestseller badge is for, as long as their listing has it. And I don't want to, I highly suggest you don't go that extreme. This is about as extreme as I would ever go, because it still does make sense. I guess he is technically selling like a kit, sort of an all-in-one kit, not just the gloves, but the gloves are his main product, and the claws are simply a free bonus that he's offering, and he is the #1 bestseller in claws, which is pretty funny, right? Yeah, look, he's selling barbecue gloves, and he's listed in the patio, lawn, and garden category. Grills, outdoor cooking tools and accessories, barbecue claws. So he obviously did his research, he or she, and found out that it would have been much easier to get a bestseller badge for barbecue claws than it would barbecue gloves. And on the surface, I would probably say that's 100% accurate, but it's up to you to just do the research and keep an eye out for these kind of things that I'm pointing out in this video, because it can determine which subcategory you want to be placed in. Now, let's say you pick a subcategory and a month later you're like, oh crap, I don't think I'm in the right subcategory, I want to change it. What do? Well, all you have to do is contact Amazon and be like, hey, I want to change subcategories, can you do it for me? And they will always just do it for you. So there's no sweat if you happen to pick one and then want to switch later on. It's really not a big deal. So I'm glad we ironed out that first step. There's a lot that you can do with categories. I just highlighted the most important things to note. Let's go back here. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to go ahead and pick backpacking tents. Okay, so, and then we hit select. Okay, now this is our add a product screen. This is where we're actually going to add our product. So I always like to come up here and hit advanced view. Okay, and this is where product ID. So remember when we had to find our UPC codes or EAN, and you can either use GS1 barcodes, which are the real, government issued barcodes, also the most expensive, or you can use one of those third-party knockoff websites that supposedly derive all their barcodes from GS1, but mark them down to like $5. That's going to be up to you again, but it doesn't matter. All I'm pointing out to you is that number is what's going to go in right there in product ID. And when you hit select here, it'll most likely either be a GTIN, EAN, or UPC. You just have to read what it is when you purchase it. That's as simple as that. But you need a product ID. There is no getting around that. Like, that's 100% requirement. So after you have the product ID all nice and ready to go, the product name, this is your title, right? So this is your title that we came up with. It's going to be a little confusing with the name. Product name. Product name means title. Manufacturer, this would just be your brand name. Part number, just simply make it up. Be like camping tent -1. Brand name, I would just do the same as manufacturer. Okay, so that's that. We're on vital info. Let's hover over to variations. For our camping tent, we're not going to have any variations, so we're just going to leave it blank. If you have a product with variations, this is where you would specify. So color, size, length, a million different options that you can specify if it fits your product. It's that simple. Offer, this is also very important. This is where we actually set our price and we set our SKU. So this is your price. This is not your actual sale price. So let me show you real quick. $50. Okay, so your price, $50. Sale price is the price that your customers are actually going to purchase at. Your price thing, you always want to just make higher, because that's going to create the slash through price effect, which can drive a few extra sales because the customer thinks they're getting a special deal. It's like marked down on that particular day. Seller SKU, this is something that you need to make up yourself. If not, Amazon will do it for you, but for your own organizational purposes, you're going to want to do it yourself. So I would do this like camping tent -green or camping tent -black. This is going to be for your own good, your own organization, and your supplier as well. So make the SKU something, clear. Sale start date, sale end date, not a big deal. Just make the start date will automatically just be the day that you're inputting this information, and make the end date like sometime 5 years in the future. Condition, we always want new, right? Because we're Amazon FBA sellers. We're not reselling or, selling wholesale, used goods or anything of that nature. So, and honestly, that's all you have to fill out. All this other stuff doesn't really apply to us at this moment, because like handling time, as long as you have down here, I want Amazon to ship and provide services for me. That means that you're going to be doing fulfillment by Amazon. And when you're fulfillment by Amazon, you get the Amazon Prime badge. All your products will get free 2-day shipping for the customer. So you don't have to worry about any of this handling time, anything like that, because Amazon does it all for us. Super nice there. So that's offer compliance. This is just basic sort of information that is optional. As you can see, none of it is required or in red, highlighted in red, that is requiring you to fill it out. Totally optional for you. But do fill in any information that you find necessary or would educate your customer better on what your product contains, as far as maybe a lithium battery or anything of that nature. Do try to educate them the best. Images, this is obviously where your images are going to go. So this is your main image, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images below it, and then these 2 down here. Now, from my experience, Amazon, the baseline is 7 images. It does differ on category. Sometimes these images will actually show up on your listing, but 9 out of 10 times from my experience, even if you put images in these 2 spots right here that I'm showing, they will not actually appear on your listing. The only ones that appear are the main image and then the 6 below it, so for a total of 7 images. So you just want to focus on your 7 best images. these are, just treat these as maybe extras that may or may not be included, but don't really worry about these. So what are the requirements? So these are going to be square images, and you want to make sure that the product, especially in the main image, takes up as much white space as possible. You want as little empty space in the image as possible, and you want it to be at least 1000 by 1000 square pixels. And the reasoning for that is, if it's undersized, the person will not be able to zoom in. Okay, when it's properly sized of at least 1000 pixels, all you have to do is hover your mouse over the image when you're shopping, and it actually zooms in on the image. That's exactly what we want. If it's not, then the person actually has to like click, and it just doesn't look good. So pure white background for the main image is a requirement. The other images have a much more leeway in terms of, you don't need a pure white background. You're not supposed to have text, but honestly, you can. If Amazon messages you and is like, hey, there's too much text in some of your images, all you have to do is change it. But the bottom 6 images have a lot more leeway and customization ability. The main image is the one you want to watch out for. You definitely want to keep it on a pure white background, and you don't want to add too many random things in there. You want it to just really, really showcase your exact product, a really high quality photo of your exact product on a pure white background. So that's where you go with the images. The description, this is where we enter our product description that we made. Key product features. So remember when we made the description, right? When we made it with that, using that free HTML editor tool. So the way you would copy and paste that in here would be in the HTML fashion. So if you were to copy and paste your description right here, if you were to copy and paste this right here, this one solid paragraph, it would come out like this. Even if you copy and pasted this paragraph, let's say, into a Word document, bolded a bunch of stuff in the Word document, spaced a bunch of it out, added some bullet points, if you were to copy and paste that edited version in to this description field right here, it would still come out like this right here as this one big block of text. Why? Because we actually need to copy and paste the HTML version. So that version of the description that has like the open bracket B, close bracket B for the bold, like the open bracket BR for the line break, close BR to close line break. You actually need to enter the HTML version in here if you want it to appear on Amazon like that. And again, it's super easy using that free tool that I mentioned before. So that's that. Key product features. These are your bullet points. As you can see, by default it just displays 1, but keep hitting this add more button. Okay, and there's your 5 bullet points. And this is exactly where you copy and paste your 5 bullets. Super simple. We're almost done now. And if your product has, a choking hazard or a legal disclaimer, do include it here. Maybe, it has like a choking hazard for small children, or warning contains small parts, or warning contains lithium batteries, anything like that. Keywords. So the one field here that we want to really focus on is the search terms field right here. The other ones are not really relevant or important to us. The search terms are. So remember that everything, all the keywords that were left over that we didn't use in our listing when we made our listing in the Helium 10 Scribbles tool, remember we had those leftover keywords? Well, that's where you would place them, and we had the misspellings, remember, from the Misspellinator tool. That's where you would shove those in the back-end search field. So what essentially that's going to do is Amazon's going to index us for all those words, but they're not going to show up or display front-facing on our actual listing, right? Because we don't want a bunch of misspelled words to actually appear in our product listing. That's why we save all that stuff for the back end. So the customer doesn't even know, but the Amazon algorithm does, and we can make sure we are indexed and showing up in search results when customers maybe type in a misspelling. One thing a really important thing you want to keep in mind with the search terms is you need to stay under a 250 BYTE count. They call it bytes or bits, usually also referred to as characters, but all you have to do is go to Google, type in byte counter, and copy and paste your backend search terms, the leftover search terms that you didn't use in the listing, and it'll spit back, how many bytes it is. If it's under 250, you're good to go. If it's over 250, you need to delete a few of the words. So I stress this because if you're at 251, Amazon will not index you for any of them. That's why it's important. If you're at 249, you're fine. So please do stay at under 250. Like that's not just my recommendation or advice. Like that's the actual rule. If you go over 250, then all of the search terms you put back here in this field will be useless. So that's that. Let's come over here to more details. More details section, you can add any sort of extra information about your product, shipping weight, anything like that, fabric type. Again, none of this is actually required information, but if you want to add it in, feel free to do so. And once you're happy and everything's inputted the way you want it, you simply scroll all the way down and you hit save and finish right here, and you are done and good to go. Give it a few minutes, then it's going to populate and appear within your inventory. And it's as simple as that, guys. Hope that was a useful video. Hope I was able to simplify things for you. It's really not hard, especially once you get the hang of it and do it your first time around. Doing it for the first time is always going to be the hardest, but once you get the hang of it, you can start doing it in your sleep like I do. So no stress, no sweat. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya. What's up, guys? Hope all is well. In this video, we're going to cover exactly how to ship in your FBA inventory from your supplier. So the beauty of this is you don't have to see or touch your goods. In fact, you're completely taken out of the equation. That is, if you want to be, and I would think you want to be. I would think you would not want to have 1,000 units of a given product be shipped to your house every single time, and then you be reliant to run it all to the UPS store and ship it yourself, right? The much easier and actually cheaper path would just simply be to have your supplier ship it directly into Amazon FBA. So in order to do that, we need to print out the proper Amazon FBA shipping labels within our seller account. We then will pass those along to our supplier via PDF, and they will use them to stick on the outside of the big shipping container boxes that they're going to ship over. Once we hand them those labels, they are good to go, and your items are ready to be shipped into FBA with 100% accuracy, and we don't have to worry about anything else. That's the beauty of it. So let's go ahead and cover how to do that in this video. So again, kind of like the SKU label video where I showed you how to print out the individual SKUs, go to inventory, manage inventory, and we're going to go to our desired product. Again, hit the two little up and down arrows on the drop down menu, and we're going to see send/replenish inventory. Now, here is step 1 of creating your FBA shipment. You're going to be creating a new shipping plan because it'll be your first time. Ship from address. You're going to need the exact address from your supplier. Just ask them. Packing type, individual or case packed. Well, most likely you're going to do case packed. You can read what the difference is between them right here. So individual is if your shipment consists of individual items with different SKUs and in different conditions. So that wouldn't apply to us as FBA sellers because we're only selling new products and containing the same SKU in the same box. So we're going to do case packed. Okay, continue to shipping plan. Now, set quantity. Units per case. You are going to get this information from your supplier. Okay, so let's say we have 1,000 units. Units per case, we're just going to make this easy. 200. Actually, let's go 100. Number of cases, 10. Right? Looks right, correct? Number of cases, 10. Units per case, 100. Total units is 1,000. Perfect. Continue. Okay, so all products. Who preps? Merchant. So remember how in one of the previous videos I had you print out the SKU labels. I had you send them to your supplier, and the supplier then put them on your products, right? So we did it as the merchant. And prep required. I just hit everything as merchant here. Just check everything off as merchant to make sure we don't get hit with any sort of miscellaneous fee. and hit continue. Okay. Who labels? Merchant. Do we need to print out labels? Nope, we already did it. The supplier has them. Good to go. Continue. So they have created our shipment for us. They have already determined that it's going to be going to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And you can rename this whatever you want. For organization, I would go with your product dash number of units dash warehouse. So workout gloves dash 1000 dash Texas. Now, we need to approve shipment. Once the shipment is approved, we need to work on the shipment. Okay, this is where we input our information, and some of this information you'll be getting from your supplier. So with carrier, your supplier is either going to ship via UPS, FedEx, or DHL. Whichever one it is what you're going to put here. Pretty simple, right? We'll just do UPS for this example. Scroll down. How will the shipment be packed? Multiple boxes. Keep use web form checked off. Units per box configuration, 100. Number of boxes, 10. This is where you're going to get information from your supplier. They will tell you the box dimensions, most likely in centimeters because that's what they go by in China. Just simply convert it to inches, input the inches in here, and they will tell you the weight as well, most likely in kilograms. But just convert it to pounds using Google. Input that in there. You hit confirm. As soon as you hit confirm, as you can see here, you then are allowed to print the Amazon FBA shipping labels. Once you hit this button and print the shipping labels, you will then hit this complete shipment button and you will be done. That's it for that. All you have to do now is make sure you either email or Skype message those FBA shipping labels over to your Chinese supplier. They will take care of the rest and your items will be off and ready to go to FBA. Good luck, and I will see you in the next video.